Hello, welcome to Papa Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Papa Nick Lewis, and today we're going to continue our fascination with John Mellencamp. Last week, I gave you my ranking of his 22 top 40 charting singles. Say that three times fast. And as I was talking about those songs, I talked a lot about why I like John Mellencamp as a songwriter. I've also brought this up in, I had a video last year where I talked about what the qualities were that my favorite songs, my favorite recordings had. And one of those qualities was lyrics like John Mellencamp's that are very detailed, very specific. I like lyricists who understand that it's not just whether a detail is specific or not. It also has to be telling. It has to say something beyond just communicating whatever the specificity of the detail is. And so I thought this week what I would do is just kind of build on that. What I want to do is I want to go through one of John Mellencamp's songs, line by line, and talk about this level of detail that he's got. And the song that I've chosen is, I mentioned this last week when I was talking about the charting singles, his last top 40 charting single. I think it was his last one. Now that I've said it, I'm not sure it was, but I'm pretty sure it was. And that's off of Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, West Intermezzo, I Saw You First. So what I want to do is go through this song, like I said, line by line, and talk about the meaning that I see in it. Okay, this is personal interpretation, so grain of salt. I'm not going to do the subjectivity notice because it's obvious. I am giving you my interpretation of this song. So, we ready? Okay. Also, before we get into this, I need to. I'm going to be talking about this song as an example of John Mellencamp's writing. But this song was not written by John Mellencamp alone. It was written by John Mellencamp and his frequent songwriting partner, George M. Green. On the albums of Mellencamp's heyday, the ones that I think of when I think of John Mellencamp, the albums that he released in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s, on any one of those albums, there's going to be 3, maybe 4 songs that Mellencamp co-wrote with George M. Green. And that means that I'm going to be praising this song and talking about it as if it is John Mellencamp's work when it is entirely likely, not just entirely possible, entirely likely that the actual person who should be getting this praise is George M. Green. I have read enough interviews. I've read enough about John Mellencamp to develop the very strong suspicion. I'm not going to say I know this for a fact, but I have the very strong suspicion that he's one of these guys who, if he contributes one word, he's getting co-writing credit for it. I also know that there are other instances, songs we could be talking about here. For example, Human Wheels. I love Human Wheels. I think it's a wonderful song. I don't think it's a particularly good example of the kind of thing that I'm talking about today, so I would not have chosen it for a discussion of the use of telling detail, because Human Wheels is more opaque than that. But the lyrics of Human Wheels are largely George M. Green. He wrote a poem to deliver at a funeral, I believe his father's. I'm really hazy on those details, so don't quote me on that. But he wrote the poem that became the lyrics to Human Wheels. I mean, John Mellencamp essentially took that and set it to a fairly simple melody. So, I know going into this, don't don't bother about putting this in the comments. I know going into this that I am praising John Mellencamp for something that John Mellencamp and George M. Green did, and I also know that the heavy weight may well have been carried by George M. Green. The thing is, the things that I'm praising this song for are things that go throughout the catalog. I could just as easily be talking about, Theo and Weird Henry off of Big Daddy and making the same points. I just wanted to talk about Key West Intermezzo. I think it's a better song. Cool? Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get started. So the song starts. We get the little snip of melody at the very beginning. For the most part, I'm not going to talk about the music here. I'm just talking about the lyrics. I'm talking about this as if it is a poem. And the first verse starts, "In a hand-painted night, me and Gypsy Scotty are partners." So a couple of things right up front. Thing number one, the character's name is Gypsy Scotty, so I'm going to refer to Gypsy Scotty. I understand as I use this word that it is seen by many as a negative racial epithet, and I apologize for that right up front, especially since I'm about to build on some of the negative stereotyping that goes with, that is associated with the Romani community, the Roma people in general. So I just apologize right up front that we've got this content. Sorry. But when we're looking at the meanings of the words, in a hand-painted night, interesting way to describe the night. As soon as I see or hear the phrase hand-painted, I think of like hand-painted ties, right? Very colorful, bold, this kind of stuff. So it's a hand-painted night. It's loud. It's bold. It's colorful. Me and Gypsy Scotty are partners. So Gypsy Scotty is Gypsy Scotty, and when we think of like I said, many people see as very negative epithet of Gypsy, it carries with it a couple of associations that I think might be important in the song. One is that a common association we have with gypsy is nomadic, wandering, people who aren't necessarily tied to a specific place, who move freely as part of their life. The other thing is that, like hand-painted, one of the stereotypes we have with gypsies is, or one of the stereotypes that the word gypsy calls to my mind is colorful, like colorful clothing, colorful, entertaining, outgoing, colorful, exotic, right? So it's a hand-painted night, it's a colorful night, it's a bold night, and me and Gypsy Scotty are partners. At line 2, at the Hotel Flamingo, wearing black market shoes. We're at the Hotel Flamingo. This might be an actual place. I don't know. I've never actually tried to see if it's an actual place. I don't care if it's an actual place. But if it's the Hotel Flamingo, first off, Flamingo, bright, colorful, pink. If it's the Hotel Flamingo, then that suggests an exotic, South Beach, Miami kind of a hotel in my mind. Wearing black market shoes. I have no idea what a black market shoe would be. But again, the image that comes to mind is first black shoes. We're at a hotel. We're about to talk about the music that's playing, so I'm assuming we're at like the hotel bar, and we're hearing music and there's dancing and that sort of stuff going on. So I'm thinking shiny black dancing shoes. But black market shoes, black market, suggests to me a sense of mystery, a sense of intrigue, right? So far, just in 2 lines of this song, I'm getting this almost sense of exotic fantasy, like this is taking place in in a movie. This is like Casablanca, only instead of Morocco, maybe we're set somewhere in, Cuba or Mexico. Like we're on the coast of the Gulf Coast of Mexico or someplace like this where it's exotic and it's. So we're at the Hotel Flamenco, wearing black market shoes. This loud Cuban band is crucifying John Lennon. Line 3. It's a loud Cuban band. That doesn't necessarily mean we are in Cuba, but okay, we've got that kind of flavor going. And the band is crucifying John Lennon. That's a nice allusion there. The Ballad of John and Yoko. The way things are going, they're going to crucify me. John Lennon sang in that song. Last line of the first half of the verse, no one wants to be lonely. No one wants to sing the blues. It's a loud place. It's festive. It's colorful. And no one wants to be lonely. Everybody is there to try to create a sense of community, a sense of harmony. No one wants to sing the blues. It's party time. Second half of the first verse. She's perched like a parrot on his tuxedo shoulder. Okay. We're introduced to a third character. So far we've got me and Gypsy Scotty. Now we've got she. She is perched like a parrot. Like a... There he is. Like a parrot. I wore this shirt for a reason. She's perched like a parrot. She is colorful. Wonderful plumage. But she's perched like a parrot. Gotta love that alliteration, right? A poet is careful to select words because they sound right together. And one of the things that make them sound right together is the repetition of sounds, repetition of consonant sounds, repetition of vowel sounds, rhyme, right? One of the most basic of poetic devices is repetition of sound. So she's perched like a parrot. And the parrot is the important part because she is colorful. She's exotic. She's perched like a parrot on his tuxedo shoulder. The only other guy we've got here is Gypsy Scotty. So I'm assuming she's perched like a parrot on Gypsy Scotty's tuxedo shoulder. So she's with him. Next line, Christ, what's she doing with him? She could be dancing with me. Now, if we're thinking of this as a story, here's our conflict. The narrator in the song, I am looking and I see my partner, my friend, Gypsy Scotty, and I see the woman that he's with, and I'm thinking to myself, why did she pick this guy? She could have picked me. More on that as we go. She stirs the ice in her glass with her elegant finger, which is just a nice visual image. Go to any bar, you'll see people stirring the ice in their glass. But she stirs the ice in the glass with her elegant finger, right? We take every opportunity to present her as exotic, beautiful, elegant, right? Like dreamlike almost. I want to be what she's drinking. The verse concludes. I want to be what she's drinking. Yeah, I just want to be. So she's stirring the ice in her glass, and I want to be the ice in that glass. I want to be the drink in that glass. I want to be with this woman. So we've set up the scene. We're out. It's a boisterous evening. It's loud and it's festive and everybody's having a good time. God damn it, right? She's with Gypsy Scotty. I'm with both of them because we're all part of the same party. But deep down inside, I'm thinking, yeah. And then we get to the first chorus. I saw you first. I'm the first one tonight. I saw you first. Don't that give me the right to move around in your heart? Everyone was looking, but I saw you first. Everybody recognizes how special the woman is, but I saw it first. And so it's almost like he feels like he had dibs, like he called shotgun or something, right? Just not a particularly nice thing to think about, human beings. But there we are. He is the speaker of the song is out with Gypsy Scotty and the woman. They are hanging out in a hotel bar. They are dancing. They are having a good time, and at some level, pretty close to the surface, the speaker of the song is lamenting the fact that the woman has chosen Gypsy Scotty instead of him. Verse 2. On a moon-spattered road in her parrot rebozo. Okay, so first line was hand-painted night. In a hand-painted night, me and Gypsy Scotty are partners. Now we've got on a moon-spattered road. Nice little bit of parallelism there. I'm gonna start the verse the same way I started the last one. Before, hand-painted. That established the mood for the verse. All 8 lines of the verse. It's hand-painted, it's loud, it's bubbly, it's boisterous. This time it's moon-spattered. We're no longer in the party. We're now out away from the party. We're alone. Moon coming through the leaves on the trees. We're getting bits and pieces of it. It's not coming down in big. It's moon-spattered road. I like that. That's a nice visual image. In her parrot rebozo. Okay. When I first heard this song, I had to look up rebozo because I did not know what it was. It is, if you're not sure, like the me I used to be, it's a type of, I want to say it's a type of shawl, but that's selling it way short. It's much bigger than a shawl. But for our purposes, that's good enough. It's a shawl that's worn primarily by women in Mexico. So again, we've got that exotic, Mexican, Cuban, Caribbean, palm trees kind of vibe going on here. Line 2 of the second verse. Gypsy Scotty is driving his big long yellow car. Now it's when we get to the big long yellow car. That's where I start thinking, okay, maybe this actually is in Cuba, because big long cars don't. It's hard to find big long cars. You can find big vehicles, but they're going to be trucks, and they're going to be oversized trucks because there are certain kinds of guys who like really big wheels and lots of flashing lights and lots of big whippy antennas and all sorts of big stuff so that they can compensate for something. But big long cars, those are a thing of the past. And so I can clearly see this all taking place in Cuba, where you've got, Chevys and Fords from the 50s still roaming the streets. But Gypsy Scotty is driving his big long yellow car. She flies like a bird over his shoulder. Got to keep that parrot thing going, right? She's a parrot. She's perched like a parrot. She's got her parrot shawl, and she flies like a bird over his shoulder. We just used parrot a couple of lines earlier, so I don't think he needs to repeat parrot here. And parrot is 2 syllables, and we really only have one room for 1 syllable, so it makes sense that he'll move to bird. But we still have to get that in. She is a bird. She is not a normal person. She is exotic. She is untouchable. She is, she flies like a bird over his shoulder. Now, she's not really flying. She's not really a bird. What I'm thinking here is, okay, we're in a car. We've got the narrator of the song, we've got Gypsy Scotty, and we've got the woman. Gypsy Scotty is driving, so we know he's sitting up front, which means our options for where the other 2 are sitting are A, they're all 3 sitting up front. If this is an old car, it likely has a bench seat up front, and so it could be that all 3 of them are sitting up front. Option B is the woman and the narrator are sitting in the back, and Gypsy Scotty's up front. That doesn't really scan to me. So one of the 2, either the narrator or the girl, has to be sitting up front. I'm thinking the girl would be sitting up front. The narrator's going to be sitting in the back seat. The narrator is a third wheel here. Third wheels go in the back seat. And that to me, explains why she flies like a bird over his shoulder. He's sitting in the back seat. He's looking. He sees Gypsy Scotty's head and shoulders. He sees her head and shoulders. He sees her move over to be with Gypsy Scotty. So he's not seeing her get up and move. He's just seeing the top. He's seeing the head and the shoulders move over to perch on his shoulder, or to move over his shoulder. That makes sense to me. That tracks. She whispers in his ear, "Boy, you are my star." So she is in the passenger seat in that front seat of the car, and she's leaning over to whisper sweet nothings into Gypsy Scotty's ear as Gypsy Scotty is driving. And what she says is, "You are my star. You are my star. You are the light in the sky. You are that which we can navigate by. You are a celebrity." There's no meaning of star you can find that you want to stick in here that's not going to be a very positive thing. Not just a positive thing, but a very positive thing. You are it, she says. And as soon as she says that, we go right into the second repetition of the chorus, or the first repetition of the chorus, second appearance of the chorus. "But I saw you first. I'm the first one tonight. Yes, I saw you first. Don't that give me the right to move around in your heart? Everyone was looking." Now this time it's different. First version of the chorus, everyone was looking, but I saw you first. This time it's everyone was looking, and we kind of hang there. Now, I said I wasn't going to talk about the music of this very much, but here, I think it's important. If you are writing music, you are keenly aware of the power of resolving a chord progression. There are certain chords that you can pick, and as soon as you take this step to go to this chord, you're going to have to come back here, or else you're going to leave everybody feeling uneasy, because there are certain notes in a given chord that automatically predict what that next chord is going to be. And when we get that fulfillment, there's a sense of satisfaction that goes with that, a sense of completion that goes with that. If that fulfillment is withheld, we get a sense of hesitation, a sense of nervousness. And I think lyrically that's what John Mellencamp is doing here. There's no reason why he shouldn't just go ahead and do the "but I saw you first" like he did in the first chorus. But not doing it creates a disruption. Everyone was looking. Now, stylistically, musically, that makes sense to do. I think it's a very effective choice. In terms of the content of the lyric, it also suggests that maybe he's starting to hear himself. Maybe he's starting to hear how he's, but I saw you first, and maybe he's starting to think, maybe it is but everyone was looking, but it's like a resignation. Nice move, that. Then we get into the third verse. "In the bone-colored dawn, me and Gypsy Scotty are singing." Okay, now, first verse, hand-painted night. Second verse, moon-spattered road. Hand-painted night, exciting, boisterous, ooh, festive, dancing, ooh. Moon-spattered road, ooh, it's a little bit more cozy, and it's more romantic, and ooh. Bone-colored dawn. Okay, there's no romance here. This is not exotic. I mean, it is literal. It's a good literal image. If you are awake early enough in the morning, or so they tell me, before the sun is completely up, everything is kind of gray, not too vibrant, and kind of gray. Okay, that's bone colored. But I think more importantly, this is the day after. This is not exotic and fun and colorful. This is, okay, it's the next day, right? "In the bone-colored dawn, me and Gypsy Scotty are singing." So Gypsy Scotty and I are singing, hanging around, chatting, whatever. "The radio is playing. She left her shoes out in the back." We're listening to the radio. She's gone. She left her shoes, but she's gone. That means either, I'm hoping that means that she left in a hurry. Either that or she left without complete control of her autonomy, which really does not make me think well of Gypsy Scotty. So I'm hoping that she was in a hurry when she left. But she's gone. Her shoes are still here. She's gone. He tells me a story about some girl he knows in Kentucky. He just made that story up. There ain't no girl like that. Now, as we're talking the next day, he's telling stories about somebody else that he encountered quite some time ago. This is the other point where we want to talk about the music. Up to now, we've got a melody, and John's doing his best to stick to the melody when he's singing. But when he gets here, he tells a story about a girl he knows in Kentucky. He just made that story up. There ain't no girl like that. He goes into speech to deliver that line. He takes himself out of the melody. And so when he slips out of the melody and he starts talking, he's pulling himself out of his thought pattern, pulling himself out of the story to make a judgment on it. Now, whether the judgment is accurate, where the narrator is starting to realize that Gypsy Scotty is maybe a little bit on the full of shit side, or whether it's disbelief. Like, how can this guy do this? Not sure which it is. But there's up to now, everything that he's been talking about, every bit of jealousy, every bit of envy, every bit of everything has been directed at her. I saw you first. Don't that give me the right to move around in your heart? This is the first time where I see him directing it at Gypsy Scotty. He just made that story up. There ain't no girl like that. And then we go into the last verse. Now, this is a pop song, which means there are certain things that we have to do. We have to end with, or we go into the chorus. We have to end with a chorus. That's what pop songs do. Verse, chorus, middle eight or bridge, verse, chorus, right? I mean, there's a structure we have to follow here. And so, poetically, we can stop right there, right? We have another chorus here, but the chorus is just kind of wrapping up the song. Don't know that it's really doing anything to advance the song. We've hit the end of our story with, he just made that story up, there ain't no girl like that. But then we've got that chorus. But I saw you first. I'm the first one tonight. Yes, I saw you first. Don't that give me the right to move around in your heart? Everyone was looking, but I saw you first. I saw you first. Yeah, we do want to include that last chorus because he changes the last chorus, right? The first chorus is complete. The second chorus, he drops off the last line. He drops off that last I saw you first. Last chorus, he tacks on a second I saw you first. Now, musically, it makes sense to do that. I know when I perform this song, I actually put a couple I saw you firsts at the end of it. It sounds better. It sounds more complete if you do that. But it also suggests that he just made that story up, there ain't no girl like that, is not really a particularly strong wedge between, or the evidence of a strong wedge between the narrator and Gypsy Scotty. It's more like the narrator being momentarily, a momentary lack of faith in his assessment of who his friend is. There's more than a little bit of wingman hero worship that goes through this song. And he just made that story up, there ain't no girl like that. It suggests that there's a chink in that armor. But if we really dwell on the I saw you first part of the chorus, that gets him right back where he was before, which prevents the chink from expanding. So when I listen to this song, I mean, it's a nice song. It's got a nice melody. I enjoy it. It's got some nice images in it and all of that fun stuff. But what I'm really attracted to in this song is this fairly complex relationship between the speaker and his friend, with the girl as the catalyst that starts the narrator thinking about the nature of his friendship with Gypsy Scotty. And it's hard to do that in a flippin' pop song, for crying out loud. John Mellencamp does it. So, when I talk about being a fan of John Mellencamp as a lyric writer, this is the stuff I'm talking about. And that's what I think of Key West Intermezzo, I Saw You First. What do you think? Do you think I'm way off base? Do you think, oh, come on, dude, it's just a song, lighten up? Drop that comment down below. I always love hearing from you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you click the like button. While you're down there clicking the light bucket, the light bucket. While you're down there clicking the like button, go ahead and subscribe as well if you have not already done so. I would appreciate that. If you do subscribe, the YouTube folks would appreciate it if you would click the bell for notification. It has something to do with how likely they are to recommend this video to other people. Sure, that stuff's voodoo to me, so hey, click the button and we'll all be happy. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope that the rest of your day is uneventful. See you soon.